trying to get a picture of a bird.
Yeah, there's so many pretty birds in the winter. Well, all year, but it's fun seeing all the different life and color against the dull gray of winter, huh?
Yeah.
Hey everyone, I would say welcome back to the homestead, but we're currently not on the homestead. We are actually at a friend's house. They don't actually live here yet, so it's a little cold in here right now. We do have the heat just turned on though, so hopefully it'll warm up soon. And it's just a quiet spot for us to use right now for filming an update on Kip's health journey. There's been a lot of questions that have come in over the past year since he started the journey, and he has shared a couple times over on our Homestead Living channel, I believe. Is that right?
Yeah, that's where that was.
Yeah, so most of his journey is over on the Homestead Living channel. We haven't brought those videos over to Thousands Roots yet. So some of you, this might be completely new to you. Others have been following the journey. So I thought we'd just kind of chat back and forth today and answer some of your questions and hopefully inspire some of you on your health journey or to start a health journey if you're not there yet.
Yeah.
All right, so for those who know nothing about this health journey, what would you say to just kind of sum up what you've been doing over the past year for your health?
Well, to sum it up, I have gained complete control over my food consumption. That's really the main thing that's happened. But, you know, to start this health journey, you know, I had to give up some things, you know, quit some things, and decide in my mind and in my heart that I was willing to give up the things that I love to eat, that taste so good, in order to change my health. So I had to come up with that in my heart and my mind. And so over this year, I've been practicing that. You know, I've been practicing having control over my food. And eat quantities that are reasonable and eat at times that are right to eat at.
Yeah. Cool. We already had been on a health journey of eating a lot more quality food, so a lot of organic and whole foods, things like that. But the when and how much was still something that was needing some change.
Well, and sugars were already out of our life, except for raw honey and some stevia, monk fruit, and that stuff.
Yeah.
So even all sugars were out of our lives. But something that I came to realize personally was how carbs turn into sugars, and I became convinced of that. So that helped me to change my mind about some things so I could have that stick-to-itiveness when I chose to change my eating. You know?
Yeah. So if you were to go back a little over a year ago and could kind of sum up your health in a nutshell, what was your health like? What challenges were you having at that time?
Yeah.
And then we'll look at how that's changed over the past year.
Yes. Well, boy, if we bring in that, we'll have to bring in the spine and the back and the shoulder and the chiropractor.
Let's share it all. Talk about it all.
And the battery's blinking.
I know. We gotta change the battery. Hold on, guys. All right, we're back.
Okay, so what I was experiencing before I went on this health journey was a lot of pain. I would wake up in the morning and most of my joints would be have pain in them. So arthritic kind of pain in my joints, particularly bad in all my my hands that I work with. Particularly bad there. My back, I was always had back pain. Always. That was a constant norm for me to have back pain. At least a level, if it's 1 to 10, at least a level 4 was just my normal, everyday, normal pain level that I just lived with. And my shoulder was the same way. And my shoulder, a lot of things I quit doing with it. Like I quit picking up certain things in certain ways, and I'll just use my left hand, even though I'm right-handed. So you learn to deal with things when you have chronic pain and certain movements cause those pains, then you just start not doing those movements. You go around those movements and you do things in different ways, and you do things maybe really goofy, like very bad technique of doing it, very bad way of reaching, because I won't reach the other way because it hurts.
Yeah.
And
that kind of throws off the balance, and
then it
all the other
starts to
muscles.
really throw everything off.
Yeah.
So I was slightly overweight, which honestly I was like, yeah, I could lose 10 pounds, but that was about it. So that had just really very little impact, my weight, on making my health changes. It had very little impact. And because with this chronic pain that I had chronic fatigue as well. I mean, my energy level was just was awful. I could press through and do things, I could work my work day or whatever, but after that I was just done, because I pressed through all that pain for all those hours, and yeah, it just wipes you out. It really wipes you out.
But then you had trouble sleeping sometimes too.
Oh yeah.
And so that, because of the pain, made it hard to sleep. So
Yeah.
it just compounded the fatigue.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a vicious cycle. So, anything else?
You were struggling with some candida issues off and on.
Candida issues, yeah.
So rashes and things.
Yeah. That's about it.
That about sums it up.
Yeah, well, but I would wake up any morning and my ankle would be killing, or stuff like that, and I'm still having some of that stuff going on. But we're actually figuring it out now. Before it was just all a mystery, because I always hurt. So having that pain move around was, well,
normal.
Who cares? I mean, it's moved, so what? You're still in pain,
Yeah.
But now, because I'm not having chronic pain, when pain does happen, we can start to figure out what's going on.
Yeah.
So that's what's going on now. That's good. That's a big improvement. Sorry for the leap forward. Okay, so that's what motivated me to want to start going on this health journey. And what we kind of settled on was a keto-friendly diet, along with intermittent fasting. And really the biggest thing is intermittent fasting. The second biggest thing, I think, is the diet. So the keto-leaning type of diet. Keto-leaning means cut out all bad carbs, basically, just straight up, almost, if you can. Because you're going to have some carbs anyways, and it's hard to explain a little bit, but... for instance, let's say you get a big salad, and so you don't get croutons this time because you cut out all the bad carbs, right?
Yeah.
But then you put a good amount of salad dressing on it, because, salads are modest. They like to be dressed well. So you put a lot of salad dressing on it, right? Well, that salad dressing could have a bunch of carbs in it.
Yeah.
And so these carbs can sneak in
Yeah.
to your diet in places where you don't even know, you don't even think about.
So instead of having a balance between your proteins and your healthy fats and your carbs, the typical diet of today is really heavy on the carbs.
Really, yeah.
And very light on the healthy fats, if any healthy fats. A lot of people consume canola oil, sunflower oil, things like that are not best, instead of healthy fats.
Yeah.
And then the protein.
Like avocados, healthy fats.
Yeah. And so then moderate protein was the goal. So we didn't do strict keto.
No.
We've never done strict keto.
No.
There are times that that's good for somebody to do that. I think it can be really healing, but I don't believe that a strict keto is best long-term for most people. I could be wrong on that, but so for him it was a matter of getting rid of the bad carbs and focusing more on getting good proteins, healthy fats, and
lots of greens.
More veggies for his carbs.
Yeah. And you cheat on that too, like, there's some chips.
Yes.
Everybody else is having for lunch. I think I'll have a few. Just keep it to a few though.
Yeah.
Right? And that's okay.
Yeah.
Unless it becomes the norm. So you don't want to slip into these things as a norm, So that's what we settled on anyways, was a keto-leaning diet with intermittent fasting. So, intermittent fasting. Go ahead, my love. Tell us all about intermittent fasting, because honestly, intermittent fasting is, I think, more important even.
Yeah, and it's one of the easiest things that pretty much anybody can do.
It costs you nothing, first
nothing.
and foremost. It would actually probably save you some money.
Right. There are obviously, just like the keto diet, there's a whole spectrum when it comes to intermittent fasting, and you kind of have to experiment and find what works for you.
Yeah.
But the idea is that you have a set window of time during the day that you eat, and outside of that window, you don't consume any calories. So even with your drinks, no snacking, you're only consuming calories within that set eating window.
What do you mean by
during
your
the day.
drinks? Like, what would be some example of normal drinks that people would have that have calories?
Sweetened teas, sweet coffee, sodas.
So anything with sugar in it? Anything with sugar in it?
Yeah, energy drinks. There's all sorts of drinks that have plenty of calories.
So what's good without calories?
So Kip still has coffee in the morning, and it's not black. We put a little bit of butter in it, and I use a little bit of stevia and a little bit of a monk fruit erythritol blend. Hard to say. And so there's virtually no calories in it, but it's something that he still enjoys and is able to drink before he's ready to enter that eating window for the day.
Yeah. My eating window is roughly noon to 6. It is always different. Every day is different, but that's the goal. So I don't eat anything until my lunch is ready. And sometimes my lunch is ready 12 something, sometimes 1 something. But I don't eat until my lunch is ready. And then I have dinner when dinner's ready. You know, I don't come through and have a snack in between those meals. I will, if I'm still hungry after my meal, I'll grab a handful of nuts or something like that to make sure that when I've had my meal, I'm full, I'm satisfied. So I will quote unquote snack right after my meal.
Yeah, that's another big part of the intermittent fasting is not snacking.
Yeah.
So learning how to actually know when you're full at a meal and get nice and full at that meal so that you can stretch to the next meal, and that just gives your body time to process that meal before you fill it back up with more food. So
Yeah. Yeah, and when you're outside of that eating window, you're fasting. It's a true fast. You don't eat. You can have drinks, but you can have no sugar in it.
Right. So he could have like an herbal tea with some stevia in it.
Yeah.
We have an electrolyte drink that's great. Usually he has that in the morning. It's an electrolyte drink that has no calories, it's sweetened with stevia. Sometimes he'll put a little bit of just lemon juice, that's it, in his water, but it's a small amount, and he drinks it over a long period of time, so it's not enough calories to break the fast.
Yeah, it's less than a shot or whatever.
Yeah.
It's a teeny amount.
So I will say with intermittent fasting, if you're pregnant or nursing, you have to be careful. Your eating window needs to be a lot longer. Also, if you're a very active athlete, or if you just have a really fast metabolism, lots of different people would do better having a larger eating window rather than smaller.
Yeah. Please check out Dr. Berg on YouTube.
Yeah.
He has very good scientific medical proofs and knowledge about all of this stuff. You can go on Dr. Berg, check out intermittent fasting and keto. You'll learn more than you ever want to know about it, just from him. I had to watch this one video like 3 times before it finally all sunk in. Goodness gracious. So anyways, yeah, very good information right there. So that's intermittent fasting. Once we decided, you know, the approach that we were going to take, I also did do a candida cleanse, you know, a good few weeks into this thing. So once we decided that and we went forward, it ended up that in 4 months, I lost 35 pounds.
Can't remember exactly. It was about that. It may have been 6 months.
Somewhere in there.
Yeah.
It was a couple months, and I started complaining about my pants, and Carrie's like, well, yeah.
We need to get you some new pants.
And I'm like, what are you talking about? And she goes, you've lost a bunch of weight. And I hadn't even stepped on the scale, you guys, because that's not why I did it. You know, it wasn't on my mind that I should be watching my weight, because honestly, before this, I hadn't even gotten on a scale for like however many months. It's just not something that is a thing to me. And so Carrie's like, well, yeah, you should probably go weigh yourself. And I did. And I was, wow, I've lost a bunch of weight. That's crazy. So that happened. I was about 185. Now my body's settling at about 150. And it was really hard, probably at first. My body went a little extreme on getting rid of all the fat. I've been slowly, you know, as I fine-tune this diet and all this stuff, slowly my body's starting to thicken back up and not be quite as skinny. And so a huge part of this was, okay, now that we've got the diet under control, all this weight loss happened, everything, why am I in so much pain still? Why does my back hurt so much? Why does my shoulder hurt? So I was convinced I had a physical injury, but I'm working construction. Something happened, I lifted something and I got hurt real bad, pretty bad. And I was doing push-ups. Actually, the next morning, I stretch and do push-ups, was part of my morning routine. And Carrie said, your shoulder blades aren't coming together right. And I'm like,
yeah, his one shoulder was at least an inch, maybe 2 inches shorter than the other. It was definite, you could see it.
Yeah, so I had gotten something so far out of whack, I was like that kind of, you know. And when I took my shirt off, it was like, when you looked at it, it was like scary, like, whoa.
Just did not
something
look right.
really wrong there.
Yeah.
So I went to chiropractor. Sure enough, chiropractor comes in and says, what did you do? And I go, what do you mean? He said, you injured yourself. What did you do? And I said, well, I don't know. Could have been when I fell 10 feet off the ladder and landed on top of the ladder. Could have been when I was chopping the tree down and the trees came back and smacked me in the face and knocked me back, and I landed on another tree and it knocked me out. Or it could have been, he said, oh, okay, I get it.
Yeah, it could have been a number of different incidents.
Yeah, so what happened was my spine, it came up, but then it came out my back, so it curved out, and then it curved back in and twisted to come back in to line. And right between my shoulder blades, basically, is where that was. And then he also found he called it a stinger in my shoulder and damage around the rotator cuff. Yeah. So that's what we've been working on. I've been going to chiropractor now. It's been a month and a half.
About that, yeah.
2 months going on. 2 visits a week, most weeks, but like last week we missed one because of the weather. And it's been a vast improvement. I'm getting my strength is coming back. I'm able to reach out and do things with my right hand that before hurt like the dickens, so I just didn't even do it. So yeah, really, really good improvement. So, you know, if you have a physical injury, you guys, your diet, what you consume and stuff like that is not going to fix it. You need to physically have a physical injury fixed.
Yeah.
That's just how it is.
I would say that changing the diet is only going to help the healing process.
Absolutely.
Though, but it's not going to necessarily take care of it.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah. And with that has been my energy level has been much better. I've had more motivation. So like I'll come home from work and be like, hey, you know, I can get a little something done. So I'll get a little something done there on the homestead or on the house. And that's way better.
That's huge, yeah.
Yeah.
Any other improvements over the past year?
Well, again, I think we're dealing with a little bit of gout. But because now that pain sticks out so much, I can identify specifically what it is. Before, when I would have gout or any of these other things, it just joined in with all the other pain. So there was nothing to look into. But now I have pain. And it's specifically, you know, on my foot, on my ankle, or in this spot or whatever. And so then we can actually look into it.
Yeah. So that's what he's using the lemon juice and electrolyte drink for, is to help with that.
Yeah. And every time I have the lemon juice and lemon water, every time I have the electrolyte and lemon juice, the next day that pain's gone.
Yeah.
So I have to just keep up with it.
You kind of have to pick and choose what are the things that give the best benefit overall to your health and really make a habit of those things.
Yeah, stick to those.
And the things that aren't really helping so much, just let them go.
Yep. That's right. That's right. So, your perspective. What has been your perspective in seeing this health journey?
I think it's been awesome. It is just so wonderful seeing you more motivated, more joyful, just more excited about life in general, not waking up with as many complaints, aches, and pains.
Yeah, because I was a real complainer. I mean, just a real complainer here. Suck it up, buttercup.
Yeah, and I know that the journey, you're still on the journey,
Yeah.
so there's still more to come, but I'm hopeful now. There's hope, and I've seen some good change. It's been really encouraging. Yeah.
Cool.
So, you guys, are any of you on a health journey right now? Are you making changes in your life? Are you giving some things up that's really hard? Share in the comments below. Let's encourage one another.
Yeah.
Because sometimes these kind of changes are not easy, and it helps to have. No.
They're never easy.
They're never easy.
They're never easy. I'm not sure what she's talking about. This crazy woman on my left over here, but they're never easy.
Yeah, so let's encourage each other. Thank you so much to our patrons, as always, for making these videos possible. We really appreciate you. Until next time, we pray blessings over you and yours.
And whatever you do, do it with your whole heart. Probably should have brushed my hair a little better and worn a nicer jacket for this thing, my bobber, huh?
You look great, love.